A mid-city eyesore will be demolished in the first quarter of next year.
Chris Welty reports the end of the old Lindy Boggs building could spur economic growth.
Years of failed ideas and promises to redevelop the former Lindy Boggs hospital site, also known as Mercy, come to an end.
That has been the one real blemish on Mid-City.
Graffiti, broken windows, and caved-in walls plague the property. Now residents and developers are optimistic about the site's future. A demolition permit was filed last month and pens approval.
I think it's just going to be a real positive force for more economic development.
Over the weekend, more than 75% of voters approved Propositions 2 and 3. The two items dedicate bond money for city infrastructure, drainage, and stormwater management projects. Councilmember Leslie Harris says several $1 million will be used to demolish the former Lindy Boggs and to reduce neighborhood flooding.
So we'll actually take water from the surrounding neighborhood and become a stormwater management basin at that site.
Harris says the property's owner envisions building offices, retail, and multifamily housing on top of the retention project.
There's great opportunity. It abuts right by Wrong Iron and some other really amazing areas, and so I think it's going to be great for the neighborhood and for all of New Orleans.
Sidney Torres owns this piece of property on the backside of Lindy Boggs. He's just one developer looking to make a greater investment in the Mid-City neighborhood.
It really will help revitalize what hasn't been developed yet, and I think it's going to spark a lot more people wanting to come over there and invest.
Torres developed several nearby properties. He's hopeful demolition of Lindy Boggs is the catalyst his future project and the neighborhood needs.
We want to do like a lifestyle center, similar in Malibu. They have a few of these where, you know, it's shopping, but it's mostly food. You'll be able to come from the French Quarter all the way down to City Park and enjoy the bayou and all the different businesses that are along the greenways.
Neighbors hope the demolition of Lindy Boggs improves quality of life while erasing one of the city's largest blighted properties.
Before the vote, Bill Hoffman, the president of Woodward Interests and one of the property's owners, said demolition would take anywhere from 4 to 6 months. Construction of the mixed-use development likely will begin in 2027.